Welcome back. We're joined by Kunal Bothra. Of course, he's still with us, but Srikant Chauhan, Kotak Securities, and Vineet Bolinjkar, Ventura Securities, joining us this afternoon to give us a perspective on how they're viewing markets. Srikant, let me come to you first. With regard to charts, how are you viewing the move all through the week, in fact, because we're on holiday tomorrow. So what do you make of the move through the week, and what can we expect going forward?
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
So, of course, I think the way there is consistent weakness that we are seeing in the market, I think street is like more of worried about the week, this long holiday. And because of that, the market is not sustaining at higher levels. But at the same time, if we consider the overall pace of the sell-off, then it is much, much gradual. And based on that, I am of the view that till the market is not breaking 23,700, again, the market can recover back to the levels of 24,000 or maybe in the best case 24,200. So already the market has spent a lot of time below the levels of 23,800. And after dismissing this, I am of the view that again it is consolidating above the previous breakout level, and the next level to watch out for would be 24,200. So ideal strategy should be to look for adding some long positions, but because there is a fear of holiday, we can see some sluggishness, but otherwise, I think the market can again move towards higher levels. That's the overall.
Vineet, how do you look at some of the banking stocks, especially private banking, HDFC Bank and others? HDFC Bank under pressure today, while other banks are pretty much fine in today's trade.
So we are quite optimistic on the mid-sized banks, Yes Bank, your RBL Bank, and Bandhan Bank. I think these three banks will do well. They've got fresh monies, and Bandhan Bank being, relegated to the economy in Bengal should greatly benefit from the upsurge in spending that will happen over the next 4-5 months. So we like these stocks, and apart from the others, the main large cap stocks, I think barring for HDFC Bank because of that one article that came, the stock continues, the sector is doing consolidating pretty well. My view is that, we don't expect too much of negativity to play out in terms of, any further escalation because, all the negatives have already been factored in price, and, if something good happens in the over the long weekend, then I think things could look better. But apart from HDFC Bank, which has seen a sell-off, I think the market is holding out relatively well.
Okay, Srikant, what's the take with regard to HDFC Bank on charts?
Technically, the stock has broken its important level. It was comfortably trading above the mark of 775, 780. But if we consider today's pattern, then it opened down with a gap, and it is sustaining below 770, which is negative. Now it is very close to its previous immediate bottom level of 745, 747. So in case if it breaks that, then we may even see the levels of 720, 725. So technically, the stock is still weak, and we can expect further more weakness in the near term. That's it.
Okay, what we'll do is slip into a very short break. I'll request Vineet, Srikant and Kunal to hold on, as well as viewers to hold on. We slip into a break, come back, continue to talk stocks. Very curious to know what Vineet makes of Humans India's numbers, because that stock is on a tear. 8% higher the last we checked, continues to rise. We'll come back with more. Stay with us. For that, Karan, Vineet, what's your take with regard to Cummins?
Well, I think it's a fantastic stock. We have been bullish from a very long time on this stock. And, data centers, your industrials, and, retail are also doing, real estate are also doing very well. So demand is strong. And, with the kind of outages that we are seeing in the Gulf, there will be renewed interest in this company going ahead. And they've got a very strong focus on international markets also. So I think very, very sweet spot, not only from the domestic market, but also exports. And I think the stock is, going to sustain and compound handsomely over the next few years.
One on chance on charts, Srikant.
See, for Cummins, it has broken all its important level. In fact, crossing 5,500 itself clearly was signaling that the stock is heading for the higher highs. But the current levels, like we can say, the stock is completely into over retraced zone. I'm not saying overbought, it's over retraced zone, and the stock can again come back to find support somewhere close to 5,700 or 5,800. So ideal strategy should be to buy on dips instead of chasing the stock at current levels.
Some of the Adani stocks, Adani total is up 12.5%. And now another company, JP Power, where Adani will have 24% stake there. That's also Adani Power also, where we have a 20% stake. Srikant, you have any views on these two? Jayaprakash Power and Adani total?
So for Adani Total Gas, ATGL, if we consider the technical pattern for the entire particular group, then most of this particular stock from this particular group did really well in last 2 months. And this particular stock, ATGL, was underperforming to the entire basket, but now it has started performing. It has crossed the important level of 750, 775, which is positive. And based on that, I'm expecting stock is moving towards its intermediate highest level, which was around 1050, 1060. So close to those levels, we can see the stock moving in the near future. So it's a buy. Even at this price, if there is a positional view, if there are any investments, then just hold on to it. I think the stock is heading higher very clearly. That is clear. For JP Power, I can say that the stock is managing to sustain above the previous swing high, which was around 21, 22. On long-term charts, I'm going to say on daily, weekly basis, the stock has managed to sustain above the mark of 14 levels. That is also something which is positive. And based on its overall technical formation, I think the stock is heading for the levels of 30, 32 in the near future. So here also we are expecting further upside in the near future. So it's a very clearly hold at current levels. If there is any correction, then one should look for adding some position. But at this level, it's a hold.
Very bullish there.
Yeah, it was like completely unexpected that the stock can recover back like this. But while looking at the overall response and maybe in the on Friday, the response will come from institution. Based on that, I am of the view that the stock has seen its worst, and the stock can again come back to the levels of maybe 490, 495. Because after opening to the levels of 430, 435, the stock is managing to surpass its previous close despite the news of OFS. One thing is very clear that the demand is very strong. And if we consider the long-term pattern of the stock, then there also we can see that the stock is heading towards the levels of 500. So broadly, I am of the view that in the near future, we may see this. We may see those levels.
Okay, Vineet, what's your take with regard to Coal India? High dividend paying stock. You've got stronger visibility with regard to volumes now. What's the sense?
So, you got new demand coming in. You are having coal, which is going to be, you're trying to go away from the fossil energy, but replacing it with coal. So you have all your fingers in ghee mein hai sare only. And given that kind of scenario, I think the stock will do well, and you're sitting on 7-8% dividend yield. You couldn't ask for anything more than that. So I think great buy. This stock will move gradually because it's a very large equity stock, and we are only started on the the coal trade. So we will see great action pick up out here in terms of revenues. So it's a it's clearly a outlier stock in now.
7% move today, 23% in the last 3 months. Clearly looking like the outlier at this point. Any other way you would play power as a theme, Vineet?
So there are a host of things you can play with. Adani group of stocks are there. Adani Green is now looking to be more interesting than the any other stocks in the group because they already rallied so much. Adani Enterprises, a lot of people do not realize that they have a massive coal portfolio, not only in India but also in Australia. So you see substantial revenues coming in from there. So these are the two stocks that I think are good to play from the energy point of view.
Srikant, what are your favorites from the Adani pack?
So from the Adani pack, very first, if we have to consider any one stock, then Adani Solution Energy. There, I'm having bullish view. The stock has spent a lot of time below the levels of 1200, and now crossing these levels clearly indicates that the stock is heading for at least 1800, and in the best case scenario, 2000, 2050 sort of levels. So there, I'm bullish. We also like Adani Enterprises. There also we have a target of 3,200, 3,300 based on its overall technical formation. So broadly, these two stocks based on technicals, we have a bullish view. And Adani Power, in case if there is any correction, then we may look for that also.
I was looking at the OFS.
So Zen Tech on the back of that has moved up 5%. Srikant, what's the take with regard to defense counters? What is it that you're liking within the defense pack?
So from the defense space, we like stocks like Hindustan Aeronautics, Bharat Electronics. There the trend is very clear. In fact, in last few days, if we consider the overall performance of these stocks as compared to the performance of the market, then they are relatively underperforming. But while looking at the overall long-term charts for stocks like Bharat Electronics, it's a best buy at current levels, close to this 420, 415 sort of levels. Uh, Eventually, I'm expecting the stock is moving towards the levels of 475 or maybe 500. For HAL also, we have a similar view. The stock is currently around 4,400 levels, and it has been consolidating within this 4,400 and 4,400, 4,300 sort of levels for a longer time. But eventually, I think we can see the levels of maybe 5,000 sort of levels. For Zentech especially, it is forming triangle sort of formation. So maybe in the near future, the stock can again come back to the levels of 2000. There it has strong resistance. But if we consider the overall space, then most of these stocks, they are forming some long-term consolidation sort of formation, which we observed in Adani stocks some few months back. The similar sort of activity we are witnessing in all defense stocks. So maybe after 1 month or 2 months, we can see some specific buying interest or upward activity in all defense stocks.
Okay, Srikant, thank you so much. I'm told we need to let you go. So thanks so much for coming in and giving us your views. Vineet, let me quickly come back to you with regard to defense as a theme and Zentech in particular. Bullish on the counter, do you have a view there? And if not, how would you play the defense theme right now?
So which stock are you referring to? Zentech?
Zentech. We spoke to the management.
Yeah.
They're doing this thing on border security. Stock is up 6%.
Yeah.
And revenues to kick in from FY27 itself. So that's why it's interesting.
Yeah, so we like the entire space, especially the fact that the government wants to do 50% of indigenous production. And drones are the new way to go, right? And they come out with this new anti-drone kind of armament. So I think that has also got buyers in the market. So we think that the stock will continue to do well. And the fact that your product is accepted by the army give you assurance of revenue coming through. So keeping all these things in mind, I think Zentech will do well. We had a long-term target of 2000 a few years back. I think it's coming out there now. and we'll have to reassess the potential once we talk to the management again.
Okay, that's with regard to different. Ravinder, Vineet, Asian Paints, would that be something which is probably something you look at, because we've seen a very decent rally on the stock price? What next, according to you? Should you buy right now?
So definitely, the FMCG space is in a sweet spot, and the market shares between the new incumbents is also stabilized. So the company will do well going ahead, and steady compounding. Their plant in south is also now going to see increasing utilizations. So all these things are going to add up handsomely for the company. We think it's a steady compounder.
Okay, thank you so much, Vineet. We'll let you go on that note. And as we get close to